Hey everybody, Dr. Jesse Morris here. Hey, I've been asked a few times recently about my thoughts on the COVID vaccine, and so I wanted to just share a few thoughts with you. Now, I want to preface this by saying that vaccines are one of the most polarized and highly charged issues in our society. And so I'm even hesitant to put out a video on the topic, but I also think that having nuanced conversations that really look to the middle ground of these highly polarized issues is really important, and it's really lacking. As with any highly polarized issue, for me, I believe that the truth is not out on the extremes. Okay, the truth is somewhere in the middle. So when it comes to the COVID vaccine, I have no doubt that it's going to play a significant role in bringing the pandemic to an end. But as with any medical intervention, it's not going to be perfect. There are going to be people who get harmed by the vaccine. And ideally, the harms are vastly outweighed by the benefit. But when I look at that equation, the question that comes up for me is, how do we proactively limit or minimize the potential harm from the vaccine? So that's really the message of this video. I'm going to share with you what I would do if I was scheduled to get the vaccine to really prepare myself to limit the potential adverse effect as much as possible. So this is a disclaimer. I don't know of any research on this. This is speculation on my part. But I would assume that anything that I could do that would limit the damage from being exposed to a toxin would also translate into limiting the potential for an adverse reaction from a vaccine. And here's why I think that. When we get exposed to a toxin, part of the damage that gets created is from an inflammatory response in the body and oxidative stress that happens in that process. I would also assume that part of the adverse reaction to a vaccine is inflammatory and creates oxidative stress. So I would want to, if I was scheduled for the vaccine, I would really want to treat it like a scheduled toxin exposure. Okay, so I know I'm going to go get exposed to a toxin. What can I do leading up to that to prepare my body, prepare my system to be as protected as possible, okay? So a couple things come to mind. When it comes to oxidative stress, the higher the antioxidant levels in your body are, the more protective that's going to be from the oxidative damage, okay? So that's one thing I would want to go after, is high doses of antioxidants to really build up my antioxidant reserves. Next, I would want to really lower my inflammation as much as possible. So I would want to make sure I'm not having an inflammatory response on top of an already inflamed system, okay? And then last, I would really want to make sure that my vitamin D levels were adequate, because vitamin D is a really key player in blood-brain barrier function, which keeps toxins that are in the bloodstream from getting into the brain. So when it comes to oxidative stress, the most powerful antioxidant is called glutathione. It's the most powerful antioxidant in our bodies. Now, you can take glutathione as a supplement. It can get a little expensive. And there's some other supplements that can also help kind of raise your glutathione levels. So the main one being N-acetylcysteine, or NAC. So NAC is a precursor to glutathione, and it can be helpful to raise the levels in your body. And it's more affordable. Vitamin C and vitamin E are also powerful antioxidant, but glutathione really is the most powerful one. So for me, I would want to, for a week or two leading up to the shot, really go high doses on my antioxidants, primarily going after N-acetylcysteine and glutathione. And then when it comes to inflammation, I would want to load up myself on supplements that reduce inflammation, the main three being fish oils, curcumin, and resveratrol. So really high doses of those supplements. And then I would also want to reduce my inflammation from my diet as much as possible. The main thing there being reducing inflammatory foods. The main three being gluten, dairy, and sugar. So the other thing that I would really want to focus on is making sure my vitamin D levels are adequate. And like I said, vitamin D is a really key player in blood-brain barrier function. And so if you have toxins that are in your bloodstream and the blood-brain barrier is really strong, those toxins can't get through and create inflammation or damage in brain tissue. So as a recap, I would want to load up high doses of antioxidants, primarily glutathione and acetylcysteine. I would want to really lower my inflammation. Okay, so fish oils, curcumin, resveratrol, cutting out gluten, dairy, and sugar. And then also making sure vitamin D levels are really adequate to go after that blood-brain barrier function. So like I said, this is speculation on my part, informed, educated speculation. But this is, I just want to give you my thoughts on what I would do in this situation if I were scheduled to go get the vaccine. I know this is, the issue of vaccines is it's polarized, it's charged, it's an intense one. So I hope I've done justice to having a nuanced piece of the conversation that's somewhere in the middle ground. And as always, if you have found this useful, feel free to share this with your friends and family, and I look forward to seeing you soon.